August 17th, 2014. Time for Healings and Meditations with Frank Jordan and his Earth Mind Healing Group. Broadcasting on Wolf Spirit Radio and Universal Mind Radio.
Welcome to the Earth Mind Think Tank Healing Group. We welcome calls in the second hour. You can call in or use the chat room to spell out the condition, the name, and the location of the person who needs healing. You're listening to Wolf Spirit Radio. August 17th, 2014, Earth Mind Think Tank Healing Group.com / somewhere in the cosmos. Frank Jordan, hello, how are you?
Well, I'm great, and good evening, JP, and welcome everyone on the broadcast. And we particularly welcome any new attendees who are listening to pick up words of enlightenment or just vested thoughts in how we can make this a better world and what our part is in it, and how can we be part of a greater whole. And I think that's really going to be the theme tonight, is examining the goddess energy and how that's been so suppressed in Earth for the last 26,000 years, and why it is now beginning to evolve and grow. And I've had a lot of good information coming through from Stephen pertaining to that, and hopefully we can get him to come through and deliver it as well as he did to me and my self-realization. So on the theme of the goddess energy, of course, the goddesses have always been around, because that's the feminine force of consciousness, the feminine aspect of life itself. And again, in our show, the Subtle Energy Group yesterday, when we had our private discussion about this, a lot of good themes came forward, a lot of good ideas, a lot of self-realization, understanding that a man is only as good as a man can be in creating what he does with his left brain and his focus of the physical reality. And any aspirations he has towards higher consciousness or understanding further energies or using the energies of enlightenment to heal with or do anything spiritual, that comes through his right brain and his feminine attunement. But no matter how great a man is or thinks he is, he still can only construct the domicile. It takes the woman, the female energy, to come with, either coming from within the male or welcome into his circle of energy to fulfill the potential of human beings. This comes from the original concept of separatism that allowed all things in Genesis and in nature to be an equal part of the whole, representing the male and female polarity of living consciousness, and everything to be in form, because absolutely everything in form has a male and a female, a positive and a negative polarity. And how does that work? Well, I've spent a lifetime examining that, and so a lot of other people. And my consensus is, my understanding is that in this three-dimensional reality we have of length, width, and height, and energetic perception of form, this is basically a mathematical principle. And in my observation of those who have studied reality and manifestation and form and how things come to be, it's been mostly done through a mathematical perception of length, width, and height as being the three-dimensional reality that we exist in. And I did not have the benefit of really studying mathematics. Mathematics never worked well in my mind. Being right-brained, I see everything as form and energy, and the constructive how it manifests and works in form. And so every time I've looked and tried to understand physics, I realized that I was seeing physics from the feminine perspective of sheer manifestation and what's in form. The mathematical form of the male side of the brain that tries to make sense of everything. And they work very diligently at trying to quantify the God force consciousness with numbers and figures and formulas and things of that nature. And to the degree that they're satisfied with it, that's fine, except they can't do much with it but observe it. My interaction, my experience in the female side, the negative polarity feminine, which is attuned into the inner God force of the feminine principle. This allows me to clairvoyantly see matter and form as it really is, which is an incredible holograph of energy. And so the physicists also agree that the world around us is a hologram, that it is simply made up of energies interacting to create the appearance and manifestation of form. Now, as I observed that a long time ago before I knew anything much about metaphysics or physics or anything else, I had flashes of realization and where I could see energy in the standing waves of form. So I spent a lifetime now studying energy as it truly manifests into form. And you can apply all the mathematics you want to understand how it works. But there still is a simple concept that once you can observe this and understand it and how it works, then through our inner consciousness of observing the subtle energy field that holds everything in form, it's pretty easy to see what manifests into physical form arising from consciousness itself. Because in the three-dimensional reality, I realized many years ago that there had to be a fourth dimension. There had to be something that held those standing waves in form. And so that's been my study for years and years and years in self-realization, is learning to observe and act and interact in that subtle energy field, which we all interact with through our subconscious mind. And in the course of that study, I was able to observe that where the physicists try to bring everything down into the form of a cube, length, width, and height, forming a cube with 6 sides, I had difficulty seeing that cube until I came to the realization that what they were doing was representing what I see, which is the orbs of energetic consciousness working together. 6 orbs, or rather 3 orbs in 6 hemispheres, each orb having an opposing hemisphere of energy for the length, width, and height. Well, that works for me because when I see anything that's out of balance or in disharmony in how the length, width, and height is resonating or manifesting from the 0 point in the heart, then that gives me the power over it. This is what I do with the healing, with my self-realization, with my study of consciousness and everything I do. I've learned to go to the heart center and become a part of that indwelling God force spirit consciousness that literally wills into form the manifestation of everything you see around you, and including our thoughts and our consciousness and everything else that is in manifestation. And all that manifestation is the construction of form out of energy unorganized into energy organized. And the way this works is that energy unorganized is simply a straight line of potential on any frequency range. Many frequencies, but the thing that allows a distortion of any frequency or any energy into a standing wave, which manifests the form, is the 4th dimension, the consciousness, that sphere of energy that that manifests the form and holds it. And so that's the realm we need to learn to work with. And this is also the realm of the fourth dimension, one of time and space, where through self-realization and understanding how things work, we have the power to not only manifest a perfect interacting reality for ourselves, but we can use it to help others to learn how to do this too. And that's the big focus of my life right now, is try to create a school, a place where we can bring people of various modalities, no matter whether they're physicists or scientists or healers or chiropractors or whatever, that have learned how to manipulate energy and bring it into a different condition than what is apparently creating a disharmony, a dis-ease in our situations. And that also includes dis-ease of thought, disharmonious thoughts or patterns and forms that we've downloaded into this physical reality as standing waves of perception that are patterned into the hard disk of our biocomputer as a little pinpoint of a standing wave that, when it's triggered, it rises back up into our consciousness as form of a thought or a habit or a perception or an addiction or anything else. And by learning to step back and become the self-observer and understanding how this works, we have the full capability of having perfect lives. And this is the way it is in other dimensional realities that I've observed. Incidentally, that's one of the gifts that comes with clairvoyance, is to be able to translate into other dimensions and observe and to learn from these dimensions. And what I observe in thousands of societies and that have come before us on other planets in the galactic system, and that have created this great metaform of morphogenic field of human consciousness that guides and directs all human activity now, no matter where we are. It's a commonality of those that have gone before, reach back to us and urged us to come into our own self-realization and to figure out how things work. And they do that with promptings that inspire inspiration. That's where inspiration comes from. It's from the morphogenic field of those that have gone before. And it's there waiting for us to learn from and to apply to our realities as we can. But anyway, that got way off field from what the feminine goddess energy is. But I had the experience with Rachel last week, and it's been my ongoing delight to help her in her clearing work to the point to where she could come into self-realization, even though she studied a lot of other things and worked with a lot of other evolved healers and things like that. In her self-realization, she was able to gain the clarity to come into full resonance in the goddess, the female energy. And because of my clarity, I could resonate with her, and it was an incredible experience to meet someone who has that capacity to come into full resonance of the goddess energy. And I want to tell you, it was a very humbling experience for me, because with it came the self-realization that the feminine energy does carry that spark of life that is the God Force consciousness that creates all form and holds the form. And any species, any reality you want to look at, any living consciousness, this is the way it works. The male, on the other hand, the left brain male, his job is to spark that light and to give that seed that inspires the life to manifest in the female side. Then his job is to nurture and protect and care for that in every way that he can, so that the feminine can bring through the ongoing progressive, what do you call it, civilization, evolution of any living species or any form. And in our humans, we can look back for 26,000 years and see that when the male domination, the third dimensional domination energy came in and was so prolific, it dominated. It took down the female and made her secondary to the male. And so we've been held in domination for the last 26,000 years. We're at the end of that cycle, coming at a new cycle of energy, self-realization, new guidance from the galactic center, coming in through various ways, new energies that are coming in that allow us to not only recognize our place, our individual places as males or females, but to inspire us to do the clearing work necessary in this third dimensional reality so we can all move into this fourth dimension of enhanced gifts and abilities and experientiality, a whole new world of dominion where everyone works to empower everyone else. Everyone respects and honors the feminine energy, nurtures and cares for her and her children, no matter what species it is or what variety of life it is. But this is coming into form now more and more all the time. But what is necessary at this point in time is for us individually to recognize the goddess within ourselves. Even the men has the goddess energy within themselves. And it is prompting right action, right choice, positive things, through the high self and through the feminine consciousness that each man has, the female polarity. And yet that is just a pale shadow of what happens when your positive polarity male of creative abundance meets with a fully resonating female that has the capacity to not only manifest and bring into form, but to hold the reality of whatever it is that the male and chooses to experience in life. In other words, she gives fulfillment to a male's life and nurtures him and everything else that is productive of growth and form and anything that's worth living, including all things of consciousness. So what I'd like to talk to you about tonight is ask each one of you to give your perceptions of the goddess energy and what that entails, what the source of it is. And with Rachel the other day, we were able to go back and follow that goddess through the mitochondria that is unchanged through the female, except every 20,000 years there's one mutation that changes it something a little bit. But to follow her mitochondria all the way back to Ninti, the original birth mother that was the original mother on this planet of humans. And that was created by the Anunnaki, of course, the gods. And this is the basis of what religions were, is honoring the gods. But we're come to the realization now that we all have the God force consciousness in us, and that we don't have to go through a religion or give our personal power away to be manifestors and co-creators. But anyway, the whole point of this is that for a male to experience that full enlightened glory of the female, which has that resonance all the way back to the original mother. Yes, you have mitochondria in your genes also. What you don't have is that polarity consciousness that allows the female to be the gentle, loving, nurturing creator of life that she is. And so how do we tell men that to wake up and get their act right and how to make choices that would enhance the female, which can only enhance their reality and everything they do to a greater degree. So let's talk about that tonight. Does anyone have some suggestions, or give me your perceptions of the goddess energy first of all, and let's go from there.
This is Catherine, and whenever I come across a man who has just daughters, I always look him straight in the face and tell him what a lucky, lucky man he is to be surrounded by this female energy that love him adoringly. and that I hope that he returns it to each and every one of them. And I can see in his eyes that he'd never thought of it quite that way before, and it's always such a blessing that they get it. So whenever you do see a man with daughters, tell him how lucky he is and what a blessing they are.
Perfect. I had 3 daughters and enjoyed them all tremendously. Still do. Anyone else?
Frank, this is Dent, and I have 2 daughters, and in my whole family, basically siblings and parents and grandparents, the ones that are still alive, I have relationships that are the most wonderful with both of my daughters. They're both awakened individuals. I'm able to talk with them completely honestly about everything that's going on in my life, including all of the healing that I've been involved with you and the healings that I've done with other people, and all the things that are going on that we talk about here on Universal Mind Radio. Really wonderful.
I had the joy of working personally with your 2 daughters, and they are delightful. And it was just such a joy to see them open up and come into greater self-realization and to work towards regaining their personal power and further awareness of who they are and what they can accomplish in this world. It is just like freeing up a couple of beautiful doves to fly in the wind who thought they had to be nested on the ground.
Yeah, I'm so pleased that they contacted you. That wasn't by my prompting. They realized on their own that they needed to have that interaction with you in order to free themselves further. We all share the same. Well, my mother and their grandmother. So it was quite interesting what occurred. Thank you so much.
All right, let's have some more perceptions about the goddess energy and what it entails.
Well, this is Joan, and in a way I think we may be talking about 2 separate things. Rachel the other day tapped into the goddess energy, which is amazing, which is very sacred and personal. But on the earthly level, many of us have touched into that divine energy in times in our lives when we're feeling really good about ourselves and full of our energy. And I think that the divine energy here on earth is based on that true feeling that you feel in your heart, where you can look in the mirror and say, I love myself. I believe in myself. That is kind of the earthly divine energy. And I guess if we continue along that path, it can only lead to greater things. There's always a counterpoint as well. It helps when there's a good counterpoint, a sacred masculine that can help us hold the form of our divine energy. And that takes quite a man. Or we need to teach each other what we need and what we feel. Maybe that's the key. Teaching and learning and growing. What is a sacred masculine? What do we want? What do we expect our men to be to hold us in that divine energy field? Is it possible?
I think that to hold each other in that sacred spot in your heart, that it comes through in your eyes, so that each of your souls recognize that. Whenever I see a woman who just looks beautiful to me, I go up and I tell her, because seeing the beauty of her life and everything gives me such pleasure. I want her to feel that too, and to see the light in her eyes going, wow, somebody is seeing me and acknowledging me, that I'm going to start thinking of myself that way. That's what everyone can do for each other, and how you give the males permission to do that without being slapped or thinking that they're being hit on, I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's very rare when you find someone who is secure within themselves, like Frank is, helping all of us reach our divine energy. Frank is so solid and centered and secure in knowing himself to bring ourselves to our fullest. Thank you, Frank. You're showing us maybe what sacred masculine is.
Well, I want to share what I did last night. After our wonderful session yesterday, I went to bed and I just immediately went out of it, and with my clearing in that, I went back in my past lives where I was a wise woman, a shaman, whatever you want to call it, back in my Scandinavian roots. Done a couple of that, and I felt the power, and it reminded me of the power I had then, and how reverent and how even though the life was difficult, it was still so fulfilling, and I lived and communicated with nature so intimately. And I thanked my ancestors, for my feminine ancestors, for that. And then I went over to the other side, and on both sides of my family, on the masculine side, they've always been warriors of some sort, and very protective, very non-communicative, what you would call a typical male. And I went back and I thanked them for protecting my feminine ancestors and allowing them, to do their thing, and I let them know that I appreciated that, and that showing a sensitive side, an understanding side, is not a weakness. And with that, I went back and I said, please release that feeling that you cannot communicate and you cannot be sensitive to your female counterpart. That in order to grow, this is what you need to do and to evolve. And after I got done with that, I just felt so wonderful, because I felt like I had removed a lot of crap from their lives. And hopefully I will make it easier for my descendants to be more free and empowered. So I have 2 daughters, and neither one of them are following my path. And my husband's path. And all I can, which makes it hard for me. But I know it's their path, and they will become enlightened when they are ready, and they are both just they are struggling very much so. But as a mother, I have to let go. And let them go on their path. Because I had a very, very sensitive father. And I was the protector of my husband. And actually my daughters were the protector of my husband.
This is the failure education system of not having enough awareness to be able to teach children about polarity and consciousness and sexuality, not as a low self function, but as a high self function. and what the power of polarity is, and the power of unified polarity in manifestation, because certainly nothing can exist without the input of both.
Very true.
I think basically the goddess energy, that energy we're speaking of, the higher feelings, which is the language of the universe, is basically our higher selves. That place that we want to be, we know we are, and everything seems to get in the way of that. So if we remind ourselves and live and exist in that place where we love and see everything for its beauty and fullness, that higher self, with that God, you're with that God energy, so God is God's source, God, and you would be that walking sun. So to me that would be a goddess, or the God in the male that comes forth because of his higher self and his connection to all that is.
God is love. God is love. However you want to say it.
So we have to find a way to love ourselves as we love. So we open up to it all. And that's what we are becoming. Our real selves.
They say in some places that the God energy and the goddess energy is really needs to be united as one. That to be enlightened, if you see yourself as either male or female, you're not there. You're still in some dichotomy, duality, reality. I think the energy, there's female energy and there's masculine energy. It's like push and pull, expansion and contraction. The one is yin, one is yang, one is male, one is female. And to be able to, as a man, say, you want to learn how to be, use the feminine energy, then you need to be able to do the both sides of the coin. The push, the pull, be able to listen and to be able to speak, to be able to. Those are different. One's the opposite of the other. One's yin and one's yang. And just to be able to use that energy that's in everything. The male, the female energy is in everything. And so if it's in you, you want to be able to utilize it and be free within that matrix of yourself, so you can manifest the God, goddess, whatever you want to call it.
Well, the whole point we're approaching here is the expression of consciousness within us, whether we're polarized to be male or female. And I've shown, I'm sure all of you in our classes and our teachings here, how to shift that point of attention, your point of awareness, that dictates which side is communicating or expressing or is feeding energy into your brain, from your programs in your chakra system that hold your hard disk of every experience you've ever had. If you've been programmed to be male and express as male, then you're operating out of the left brain, right side of your body. It does switch. And if you're expressing as female, you're working with the left side of your body and the right brain, which is more intuitive and more in attunement with oversoul and higher consciousness. And so, any male who is aspiring to higher consciousness, he won't be able to do it if he's maintaining his left side male polarity thinking, which is earth mind, physical earth survival patterns primarily, or that has the intelligence to do engineering and things like that, and scientific studies. But to take it from the scientific side into the spiritual manifestive side, where you're not trying to make things happen, but empower things to happen, you have to shift from that left side of your brain to the right side. And it's not a difficult thing to do. I learned years ago in working with people, if I was going to when I was working with a woman, before I could relate to her and understand her feelings and her thoughts and what her problems were, I had to be in my female side so I could resonate with her. And then it would just be like reading a book, because everything she experienced, was experiencing too. And when I was with a male, I'd shift into my right side male and experience what his problems were. But I also learned how to teach men, which I did in most of the sessions where I've ever had much opportunity to work very long with males or females, teach them how to shift their awareness into the opposite side when the conditions dictated that they come from either their feminine side or in the terms, because the female side has rapport. The male side has report. And that's the difference. A female can resonate and figure out a way to win-win for everybody. And on the male side, it's primarily win at all cost, and no matter what you have to do. And that just sets the stage for how you see the world operating out there. Well, if the world's not working for you, if you can't, your male side's not dominating it and producing it all for you, maybe you need to shift into that female feeling side, the intuitive side, open up to the greater intuitive flows to make your life work better. And so many of the women I work with, in order to compete and survive physically out here in the male-dominated world, are programmed to relate to the world through their male side and be dominating, controlling, and competitive in all ways that they can be. And simply by teaching them how to shift into their left side female and experience loving, sharing, giving, empowering, nurturing, healing, and it makes a tremendous change in their lives of how they see things. Your brains actually shift. How you see things shifts when we do that. But that's just dealing with the physical world out here. That's not what we're talking about with the goddess energy. When I went into Rachel, or we resonated actually, because she had the clarity to do it now, there's a resonance between our heart centers that few people ever attain, and it was our spirit centers resonating. And this is all high self over soul experiential. There was nothing low self or sexual about it or anything else. It was just a beautiful resonance of souls, male, female souls, and it grew in us until it just filled up our auras. And even though she's 1,000 miles away, it was like we were just sitting across from each other in the same locality. And that's what I love about Skype is it gives us the capacity to transcend time and space and be one together, just like we're all being now. But as we're moving along here, Rachel, tell us what your experience was.
You know, I so wanted to share, and I'm finding it hard to find words, because so much of the feminine and this experience is the experience, and it's simply profound, but it's so much within that, like you said, the sacred heart space. And I just noticed, you know, like when the energy was coming in, I also had a very strong, you know how that electrical lightning storms everyone's been having outside of ourselves lately, I had within. And it turned something on inside, and then it was literally clearing a lot of the dark energies that I've had to hold, and many of us have to hold from the old domination. And I could just feel it clearing, and coming into a space of such unity that I'm getting chills as I'm speaking. I was so moved to tears I couldn't even speak. I was so in my heart, and there was just something that happened that was so profound. And what I also found very interesting after this happened, Frank, was that evening or a couple days later, I was driving up the hill from where I live, and my husband stopped, and there's a house there, and there was this baby horse, and we stopped, and it was just birthed. It was like not even a week old, and the woman who was there, she was beaming, glowing, and she was sharing, yes, I was there for the birth. I helped pull the horse out, and I felt like it was so symbolic of what transpired between us and what's happening on the earth, like what you did with the Earth Mother and the Sun. It's moving us into unity. And what is also so needed, what you did for me too, was like holding a space, the male energy, holding the space around you so that the feminine can be that holy chalice, this sacred energy, so that this, I'm just lit up right now, so this energy can come through, and it is divine, it's sacred, it's loving, it's wordless, it's just holy. It's like bringing holiness and grace onto the earth.
It's transcending.
Yeah.
Rachel,
yeah.
let's do it between you and I, and resonate it out to everyone else in the group and the listening audience, just like we do with the healing energy.
Okay.
Now, everyone who's listening, just come into our space with us. We're beginning to glow. Our hearts are glowing. Extending it out into our auras. And on out to every one of you. Now we hear a lot and work a lot with unconditional love, which is the galactic flow, that also enhances this connection. So we'll bring in the galactic flow now, and feel your hands get hot if they're not already. And this brings in the ultimate healing power of working directly in the 0 point of our unified hearts to manifest, using the galactic flow as the source of using our intermingled souls to direct the galactic flow through the 0 point, letting that beautiful goddess energy just spread around through everything and everyone. And letting your male energy encompass it with glorious love and honor above all things. Now, anyone who's having trouble experiencing this, shift into your left side. Do that by listening out of your left ear and shifting your awareness into your left side. And open your heart. Clear all the blocks, even any resistance you feel. Clear any resistance. It's just old blocks and patterns and forms, society's domination. Clear it out of yourself. Now your male over here on your right side is kind of feeling left out. Mm-hmm. So just let the female resonate over into the right side. And let your male just envelop and surround and protect that female. Honor and nurture her within, in your own polarities. Let it build up until you're absolutely balanced. But that divine female is the healer. She is the one who holds the purity and clarity of consciousness. She is the inspiration. She is pure light. So as your male side comes into harmony and balance with the female, reach out now to your opposite, whether it be a man or a woman, doesn't matter, your primary opposite that you want to share and empower. Just connect your heart center to theirs and let true love express. Love that's unconditional with no holdbacks, no conditions, done with no expectation of return. And bring back into your lives, into your marriages, into your relationships, that joy of unity that you had when you first came together. It's still there. It's just been submerged by the domination world. And the next time you hug your mate or your partner or your friend, whoever it is, male or female, male, female, doesn't matter. The polarity is there, and that is what the glorious exchange of energy is that's occurring now. Now, following the pathway of what we experienced in our last session, open up your third eye to the energy of the sun and let the full life light of the sun pour in through your system, empowering your male and female with the pure power and inspiration of life. Feel your entire auras opening, spreading, expanding. Feel the three-dimensional orbs of length, width, height, and depth resonating from the 0 point, bringing perfection into your lives. And knowing this is the power of healing, manifesting, creating. This is life itself. Now, if you can visualize in this orb, these unified orbs, that is the third dimension, visualize the fourth orb of consciousness, surrounding and interacting in our beautiful polarized energy field now of all of our opposition forces polarized and in harmony. Feel the fourth dimensional, because it creates another orb of energy that's within this outer orb. This inner orb is a tesseract. The tesseract is the subtle energy system that holds the physical system in form. When you can see and encompass the tesseract, then you have the power to work within these energy fields. Let the tesseract open up in your systems now. With it, the power of self-awareness, self-authority, let the feminine energies on all polarities come into balance with the males, within yourself and with your partners, and extend that outward to everyone else who is listening in the World Spirit Radio programs now. Download this patterning, this energy of the Goddess expressing through and with you, empowering your male, protecting your male as your male nurtures and empowers the female to give the balance in these standing waves of energy brought into form to the tesseract of the fourth dimensional orb that holds all the gifts and abilities of who we really are as we move through the fourth dimension and into the fifth. You are in the fourth dimension. When you can bring this back and hold it, this is when your psychic gifts and abilities will manifest and come through, be available. And it may be important, critical for you to continue your clearing work, letting go of all the clutter that you accumulated in the third dimension reality. It has no place in the fourth dimension. And it all happens right here and now within this same space. We don't have to go anywhere else to do it or to find it. When you have this total resonance, the fullness and completeness, your orbs all filled with light from the sun, power, this is when you can truly say, to the power of the Christ within me, I see myself in a perfect and normal condition. This is our normal state. Everything else is abnormal. You can hold this state in your everyday working functional realities. I do. This is enlightenment, but enlightenment is ephemeral, lasting but a moment, unless you hold it, maintain it, express it, be it, acknowledge it, feel yourself worthy of it. I'm extending my orbs out to Joan now, and she's 440 miles away.
I feel it like you're right next to me.
Do you feel your female your goddess expanding and growing?
Very much.
I love and honor you above all things.
I think I found my sacred masculine.
You see, guys, it's not hard to do that. It's so easy, and the reward is incredible. It can only inspire and lift up. It never seeks to control or dominate in any way. It's the antithesis of domination. It clears or deletes domination. Those of you women who don't have a man with you now in your lives, reach out to all men. They all need it. Don't harbor your goddess love. It's there to resonate and inspire all men. Remembering there's nothing sexual about this, because the sexual compulsions are all low self. This is high self. This is your enlightened being. To give love, total love unconditionally, is the life force that's pouring in through us now from the sun to inspire and manifest all things possible. All right. You can continue to do this during the break, and we'll be right back. And if there's any healing needs to be done out there, we'll do it, and we'll continue our discussion. JP? JP?
It's coming.
Okay.
It's, here it comes, listen.
Stay tuned for the second hour. It's coming up, where we'll be doing healings and live healings right on the radio. You'll be able to hear exactly how Frank Jordan works.
Is anyone there?
Yes, Frank. Can you not hear anything?
All right.
Yeah, sure.
Yep, I'm here. Sleeping, but I'm here. Staying in the glow.
Are you listening to Van Man right now?
I'm not. I can't hear a thing.
You can't hear that?
No. Somehow it's not playing here over there.
That's okay. We don't need him anyway.
Well, he's just finishing. I can't understand why you're not hearing it, but anyway, let's see. We are back on now.
Well, I'm back. If everyone else is back, let's go on with our show.
Okay.
All right, just to judge what just happened, is there anyone in the Earth Mind Healers group who did not feel what was happening? No. See, this shows the resonance, how the energy we can take out through a morphogenic field of unified consciousness. Now, on out into the rest of the world, we know you felt it too. If you didn't, then get the replay of this tape and listen to that process again. It can be a
Frank?
permanent meditation for all of you. Yes.
I think the confusion for a lot of people with love is that we have been so programmed in our minds that love is a sexual thing. And to get out of the lower realms of the lower body and into the higher realms of the heart is going to be a big challenge for people to understand the difference with love. Women, I know, get it, but they get confused because they're talked to that, if I love someone or if I feel this, where I'm supposed to have sexual relations with them. And that's what needs to be retaught to everybody, that program needs to be distinguished.
This feeling we just experienced in this resonance is so much more fulfilling, and there's such a greater completeness with it. And it's a lasting thing. This goes on with you for the rest of the day, or the night, or however long, where sex is gone within 5 minutes. The sexual experience. And so, I encourage everyone to learn how to do this, practice it. You already know how to do it. And pull yourselves away from the sexual, in as much as it's there for you. Yeah, it's to be enjoyed. It's part of our human potential expressions here on Earth. It's to be enjoyed. But it's dominated us for so long that we didn't pay any attention to that exquisite joy we have of male-female union through the high self. And you can all regain it. It's there waiting for you. In fact, it to me is a much higher expression of oneness than anything that has to do with the low self. Would you agree?
Totally. I always try to explain to people what this is like, but I've never been able to put it into words or to lead people in the same fashion as you and Rachel did this evening. So I thank you two very much for giving everybody the taste of what love really is. I thank you.
And the male-female relationship is so much deeper and lasting when you have the love as the basic component. A lot of, so many men have learned to show love by sexual means, and it's not, hey guys, women will love you so much more if you can do the, I hate to say this, the talking afterward, the snuggling, the comforting, just the holding. We need that so much more than the other.
Yeah.
And it shows, to me, it shows how strong you are when you can do that to a woman, when you can do that to a daughter, when you can do that to a niece.
All right, I'm looking back. We don't have many requests tonight for healing. There's only one that I can see. Is that right, JP?
It's been very quiet so far in the chat room, but let's put the word out. If you do have any healing requests, do drop them into the chat room, or you can call in. But we've never had a call into the show ever since we started. But you still can. There is two chat lines, two call-in lines, one in the UK, one in America, and they're great numbers. 775-773-3431 in the States. So that's if you have a healing request and you want to call it in. But in general, they come through the chat room, and if you can put it in uppercase, in all caps, let us know. Surely there are people that you know who need healing, or yourself.
Well, let's continue our discussion then. I think this is uppermost in everyone's mind at the moment of how powerful.
What about Jerry's healing? Jerry Wardle.
The what?
There's a healing request for Jerry Wardle.
Yeah, let's leave the healing till last, and then we can, as we build this energy and understand this more, we'll focus that unified manifestive energy that we're creating in the group mind consciousness, and it will greatly amplify our healing. I'll tell you that right now.
JP, what's the phone number again?
1-775-773-3431. And in the UK, shall I say that again? 1-775-773-3431. And in the UK, sorry?
Yeah.
You get that?
Yeah.
In the UK, 0141-359-4141.
I just got a call from a guy who requesting healing. And I was going to give him this number real quick and see if he'll call it in. If not, he's going to contact Frank personally. So that's all I needed to say. Thanks.
All right. Rachel, if you can come back to us here. You were, after we did that enlightenment experience, you were able to hold that resonance. And are you still holding it, or did you up to this point of this call?
Oh yeah, I felt wonderful all day. Even my husband said, wow, Rach, you've got energy today. And I was feeling really good. And I'm vibrating, like just vibrating.
One of the other things we did with Rachel is she had been under severe attack for many, many years now from the opposition force that was trying to keep her from this self-realization of who she is and this feminine power. And it literally almost incapacitated her to where she couldn't function. And, with weakness and tiredness and so-called, syndromes, I can't even bring them to mind now.
Like chronic fatigue and chronic fatigue syndrome.
Yeah, right. Well, that's just a bucket that catches everything they can't really figure out. But when we were working on her yesterday, the day before, I think it was, we realized that and we cleared that back and built this protective field around her. by bringing through her divine feminine and extending that around her. And you're much stronger today, aren't you, Rachel?
It's incredible, Frank. I feel so good today. I feel like I'm 20 again. It's amazing. I'm so grateful.
What I'm reason I ask you for that, this power, this energy we have, is the source of pure manifestation. And this is what we'll be resonating out through this group every time we get together now, or any of the groups. And cause the more we do this, the stronger it'll become, the more clarity we'll get by blowing all that crap out of us that inhibits from understanding and realizing who and what we really are. And through our unified resonance, we can and will make a difference, considerable difference in the world and the progression of humanity.
This is very close to what pregnant women exhume when they are creating life within their bodies, and why people like to touch them so or be around them. Even when they themselves are feeling sick or not good, people love the love energy that they are creating or that is being created within their bodies. It is incredible.
Okay.
How do you stand strong and not let people take advantage of that love energy?
How do you take advantage of love? It just is. So that's when your ego comes into play, and it's your ego that is having that question, because the love does not.
The difference is it's high self-resonance. And so it blows any thoughts of sexuality right out of a man's mind when you're coming from your high self, and you don't drop down into your low self to meet his expectation or his probing, his low self sexual probes. I've observed Catherine walk through groups of people, and she's so beautiful, that long blonde hair down to her waist, and that beautiful blue eyes and Nordic features. When she walks through a room, every man there looks at her and thinks, God, what a beautiful woman. It's her radiance that does it. No man even approaches her. Is that right, Catherine?
Yeah. Very few people do ever approach me, so I usually have to approach them. Mm-hmm. And then I need to be very conscious of how I speak to them so that they don't get the improper idea of what I'm trying to say to them, because so many automatically go into the lower realms of what they think I want. So a lot of times, even with women, I will say to them, I'm not hitting on you. I just want you to know this.
As long as you keep your point of attention in your high self above your eyebrows, you're not resonating anything from your low self, because your high self's in total control. And if men don't feel anything coming back to them, they won't ask. All right, guys? Or have you had experience?
Hey, I've just got an issue. I'm sorry, but somebody's just called into the show, and I'm gonna have to take their request offline because I can't get you on that one. So, I see it's a long story. But somebody will dial in, they may come over, I'll get them over the speaker or something like that. I haven't got it plugged in or anything like that. Maybe I could. Anyway, let's see if I can bring them in. If they call back again, and I'll come online on here. So I just realized that doesn't work, but you can call in. So let's have a go. And put this online. So yeah, you can call in now to the Wolf Spirit switchboard. I've just brought it online, and we'll see if I can patch you actually in. Okay. But we do now have some requests. And the first one is from, where is it? Oh, there we go. For Maureen Outram, who's in North Ontario, scoliosis, arthritis with chronic long-term pain.
All right. Things of this nature just tells me that she's been living in an environment that was negative to her better health and vitality. It just breaks people down eventually, destroys their will to live, and takes them out. Now, what I'd like to do is use this love energy we just created. So all of you, this is a great way to practice, everyone out there in Radio Land. Take your awareness up into your forehead, drop right straight back to the soul center, back to the psychic center, expand back into the expanded consciousness of the subconscious mind. Take your awareness down to the heart, to the 0 point in the heart, to the spirit center there. Just take your awareness into the spirit center and feel the goddess energy that is still resonating around us, and expand that outward. This is in the 0 point where all healing occurs. And so we're going to be in direct resonance now with Maureen Outram, North Ontario, Canada. I hope you're listening. If not, through Teresa, we direct this energy. And let this be a love, a delightful, manifesting female love energy, the goddess energy that just wraps Maureen in a wonderful glowing energy, full length, clears her of all these past things that pulled her down, just like lifting her up, straightening her spine, clearing the long-term arthritis and pain that just cannot exist in the light, the sheer light of this power. We feel her hands just radiating the glory of the goddess energy now. It was goddess energy that created you. It was male energy that took you down. The opposition force, the controller dominating force. Lift yourself back up again, Maureen. Straighten your spine. Lift your head with pride. Find a point and purpose for life that leads you onward in joy and light. And we pour light around you now. Through the power of the Christ within us, we see Maureen in the perfect and normal condition. Everyone out there who is listening, who had any symptoms of arthritis, scoliosis, use this energy now. These frequencies are manifesting to heal yourselves. Through the power of the Christ within us, we heal directly everyone who is receptive to our flows of energy in the morphogenic field of the earth mind healers. And we feel the energy just pouring through us and out to you all, lifting you, clearing you. Pull in the light through your third eye. Drink that sunshine, that light, that power that has supplied every bit of the energy on earth. Use that energy now to enlighten yourself. And we let that standing wave stand. To whoever's listening, you can direct direct this wave to anyone you want to now. This is how we become universal healers. It's a goddess love, goddess manifesting a form, creating new form. The feminine is the healing energy. All right, now let's leave that wave stand and come back to a person that just called Dent. Through Dent now, we're directing to that person healing for long-term hepatitis C. Dent knows this healing energy very well because we healed him a couple of years ago, Hep C. This fellow's name is Peter Moppert from Pacific Grove, California. Dent, feel yourself pulling back up, remembering the frequencies, the flow that healed you. We direct it back out to Peter. We use the flow of perfection through the power of the Christ within us. We see any of the virus that is resident in Peter's system dissipating as we use a neutralizing flow of energy that breaks down the standing wave that supports the virus. They have a group mind consciousness, and so we're breaking down, wiping out that group mind consciousness that sustains their life form in Peter and in anyone else suffering from hepatitis C that might be listening at this time. Through the power of the Christ within us, we see Peter in the perfect and normal condition. Totally cleared of the virus. We feel a light pouring into Peter now through the top of his head, down through his system, from his oversoul, bringing back the pure and perfect form that Peter had in his youth. In fact, I feel it's going into the spontaneous Book of the Dead for the viruses. Give them right and honorable passage and release, clearing them out of the system. They are life forms, so we'll take them on into their own dimension, but clear up those who no longer need to experience it. All right, close to Peter. Okay, Dan, did you feel that come through you?
Yes, I did, Frank. Thank you so much. It reminded me so much of what happened to me 2 years ago.
All right, we have a request from Teresa, a member of the Earth Mind Healers group that we honor and respect very much for her divine feminine. We'll focus on Teresa now, healing request for bronchitis and coughing of the past week. And we'll do the same thing with her, the virus and the organism and the secondary infection that has come up in her.
And also, could you include Colleen Kelly as well, Bright Eyes?
All right. And anyone else out there?
Yeah, everybody.
Anybody having bronchitis, coughing, particularly the secondary bacterial infections that come up. The energy field that's flowing in and through and to everyone is dissipating the morphogenic field that sustains these life forms, breaking it down, releasing it, doing the Book of the Dead, taking it into its own and proper dimension. That's interesting. It's the first time I was ever called to do the Book of the Dead for a virus, but it seems to work. They're sure dissipating away. Well, of course, because they're dead. Their little souls have to go somewhere too. Interesting. That's honoring the God force in all things.
That's very interesting, Frank, because, a lot of us feel that bacteria just are not living things. They're like a kind of like a bit of a twisted wire or something like that. What's the consciousness behind it? It feels like it's an antenna that brings in a consciousness from another place. Is that what's it about, Frank?
Well, they have, I figured out years ago, they create a morphogenic field of their own frequency range. And even though the body attacks it, they actually can throw up defensive systems. Just like if we were attacked by invaders from across the sea, they repel the invaders, and to limit the effectiveness of our white blood cells and our defensive systems. And that's what allows them to manifest until the body really gears up and they live their life cycle. They seem to have a cycle that they have to peak and then let down and release their energy back. That's it. Back into that morphogenic field that nurtures them. Well, if we can go into that field and break that down and release it back into the source, the life force source that it came from, then we can clear whole populations of these diseases. Interesting.
Yeah, they feel like little frequency discombobulations, little buzzy little I call them twizzles. Because whenever I've had a cold sore develop on my lip, I've always felt a twizzle a day or so beforehand. I thought, oh no, please don't, but it always happens. I recognize that twizzle feeling. It's like tingle and spinny and tiny and like, could be a little Tinkerbell, but it's nasty.
Sucking energy out of your system so they can divide and multiply, radiating that energy into the morphogenic field of the virus that it may continue to exist. Wow. Break that cycle and they can't exist. Except where they can do no harm. So that's what we do, is put them where they can do no harm. Whew, close to that. Boy, I really felt that one. Okay, John Enrique's whiplash and bruised knee. Sound like he had an accident. All right.
He was hit from behind by a truck.
Uh-huh. All right, John, the first thing we do is clear the shock and the trauma of the accident. Let that go. Release it. The shock, the trauma, if any medical treatment you had, release all of that. Anything of it, fix it into your cellular memory and consciousness. Release it. The shock, the trauma. And we go back in time prior to the accident. And John, you make choices that prevent that accident by not being in that spot at that time. As you do that, we can stimulate healing in your knees and in your neck Yeah, the whiplash. Let me fix that. All right. All right, we've healed your neck down, the stress, the trauma, the damage, compressed disc. Let me put that back in place. All right. That should do it. John, keep your eye in your rearview mirror from now on. Close. Okay, do we have someone else?
Madge Mossberg, Shingles, Astoria, Oregon.
Oh, Madge Mossberg, Shingles. All right. This is reflection back again, as I understand it, to chickenpox. Let's go back in time. In Madge Mossberg, take her back in time when she experienced the chickenpox as a child, probably. And we do the same thing. We create a morphogenic field, or take these bacteria, virus, whatever they are, out into that morphogenic field in her childhood as her system totally clear them out of her system, so there's nothing along her nerves anywhere, her nervous system, clearing, releasing. Now we close the past experience, bring her forward without it to this present moment, and stimulate her body to automatically heal, bring it back into normal. The itching cease, the eruption cease, there's nothing more to support it. Through the power of the Christ within us, we see Madge in the perfect and normal condition. And incidentally, we do this for everyone out in the listening audience that ever had chickenpox and is in fear of shingles. Let go of the fear. It stimulates it.
Shingles. A lot of shingles.
Okay, close.
What happened to Jerry, the first healing request?
Didn't we deal with that?
Not yet.
Who is it?
Which one is it, Jerry?
Jerry, all the way at the top.
All the way at the top, yeah.
Yeah, I made the request for Jerry Wardhull.
Oh, we did that. Yeah, we did that.
Oh.
For ALS? No, we didn't. We talked about it, but you said,
Postponed it.
we postponed it until the end. Yeah, he's my husband's employer.
I don't remember doing ALS in anyone. That's a different one.
Nope, that's the one I wanted to do.
All right. His name is Jerry. He's your husband's employer. How progressed is this?
He is, I think it's fairly advanced. He's not able to speak anymore. I don't know him personally. My husband asked me to put in the request.
All right.
But I think it's fairly advanced. It's been a few years.
We want to clear, first of all, the perception that this is an irreversible disease. We take our group mind awareness, wrap Jerry in that, in the desire and intent that this is a reversible disease. So we clear out the pattern that out of the consciousness, expanded consciousness of humans, that ALS is an incurable disease. We release that. Oh, that's huge. Now we go into Gary directly, take him back in time back to prior to the onset of the disease. And relying on the galactic flow now, our hands will get very hot. We heal whatever the causative conditions were before the disease manifested. Through the power of the Christ within us, we see Jerry in the perfect and normal condition. And we bring him forward in the standing waves. Healthy, vital, creating a parallel reality where the disease never happened. Letting the old reality move out to the left, dissipate away from lack of standing waves sustaining it. We see this reversing the condition in Jerry, and he coming back into full operative healing. Through the power of the Christ within us, we see Jerry in the perfect and normal condition. We surround him with unconditional love, total love of the goddess energy, reconstituting his nervous system, totally eliminating the causative factors, projecting Jerry into the future as he revives and come back into full normal life again, productive life. Through the power of the Christ within us, we see Jerry in the perfect and normal condition in the future. And so it is. Okay. Oh, that's an interesting thing.
What is it?
Lou Gehrig's disease.
Oh.
Okay, anything else?
Let's see. Well, I think the chat room needs healing. It seems to getting flashes of maroon and blue. I think the matrix is disintegrating. So,
what about JP's cough?
I have no cough. I'm actually, well, apart from my spine, which is always hurting, I'm rudely healthy.
What do you want done with your spine?
It could be replaced.
All 4 feet?
Yeah, all the way up and all the way down. Yeah.
Okay, hold still.
All right.
Throw me a new spine.
Just a simple request. We're going to give JP a new spine.
And a bridge to Hawaii.
Through the power of the Christ within us. We see Jerry's spine. All the factors involved. I want to straighten you up and I want to strengthen your muscles. You're not getting enough exercise to keep your back straight and strong, so you're compressing those discs. That's what's causing a lot of your pain, plus your accident blew things out too. Alright, I'm writing my hand up and down your spine now. I've seen the disc being fluffed back up and reconstructed, the alignments coming back into place. All the way up to the base of your skull. All the way down to the sacrum. You do too much sitting on your butt, my friend. Get up and start moving. That's the problem with a job like yours, is we get glued to the desk and our bodies collapse out from under us because of lack of strengthening. That's why I go to the gym 3 times a week. Okay, can you feel the difference now? Wiggle your back around.
I feel like I've been doing that. I've been wiggling my back from the tip of my head all the way down my spine, and my right shoulder has been releasing like. Very nice. Thank you very much. A bit more exercise in the garden, maybe do some more digging. I'll be harvesting my potatoes soon, so things.
You're like me, you only exercise. Being a natural farmer, you don't put any work out unless it's to produce something. So you need to exercise for the sake of your body, not for the sake of your garden.
You know, JP, what I'll ask you to do tonight before you go to bed is to stand up against the wall with your back against the wall and pull in your stomach muscles so that your whole back is against the wall and your shoulder blades too. Your chin so that your head is against the wall too. And just stand there for about a minute or so and then laughingly leave.
All right, let's have some fun. You know where you'll be standing, JP, so we're going to create a vortex of energy right there so that when you stretch yourself up and lift your spine up in alignment, get your neck, shoulders straight, this vortex is going to flow down through your body.
You'll find the vortex just about 2 feet behind it. But yeah, you can move it and then strengthen it, yeah.
All right. Bring it down the body. Now we're going to ask the Devic Force to sustain that vortex for you. So every night, if you got tired, achy back, you just stand up here and stretch, and it'll bring you back into shape and condition again. We extend this into the future. There. Now, we'll see if we have any more complaints out of you.
Oh, as if I ever complain.
No, nothing like that.
No, as I said, you know, I feel quite, I'm feeling in touch with my body. Now I've been eating sort of organic food for the last year and you know, growing my own stuff and tilling the land and growing me spuds and, you know, I'm a city kid. I grew up in the middle of London. And so this is a kind of return. I feel like a salmon returning to my like father's lifestyle, which was, he was a cowboy in Quebec, a country boy in Quebec.
Okay, we have a healing request for Teresa's nephew, Brett. Rotator cuffs in both shoulders. Teresa, we'll let you do this one. We'll just come through you now and surround you with energy. You direct it to your nephew, Brett. Do you have it, Teresa?
I'm directing it to him, yes.
All right, good.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I was wrapping one of the shoulders around the other.
Okay, that feels pretty good. Now, wrap it in 120 energy, which is the male polarity energy. It's a white, thick energy. It's like putting a plaster cast on it to hold those muscles and tendons and bones in place. All right, good. All right. Do you have anyone else?
I just want to thank you first. You mean so much to me.
Well, thank you for meaning so much to us. Is your cough better?
Yeah, it's slowed down. It's nice. Thank you. It was nice sending those little fellers packing.
Yeah, well, your lungs and your bronchial tubes are raw. I'm going to put a healing energy on those now to soothe them. See them come back into perfect and normal condition. There, now quit passing them around. Well, do we have any discussion from anyone?
How do we send out a sustaining feeling of this love, this healing love place, so that people can walk into it or sit down into it, close their eyes and be in it?
Okay, I'm asking. All right. We can create love balls, which is simply holding your hands about 8 or 10 inches apart and feeling the energy, the heat in your hands, the galactic energy, creating a love ball. Storing, it's like, well, my hands are getting red hot. And for people to pick these up and direct them for someone else, like you suggest, just direct these love balls to where they're sitting, or they sit down a lot, so that they're in their chairs, and reinforce them occasionally. Those of you who want to do it for your own loved ones or for yourselves, it's quite easy to create these love balls, and the Devic consciousness forces pull these together and gladly hold them for you, but they dissipate away, so you have to remind them. Another good way to do it is to charge up any organic material like cotton pillows with these, I think they're called orgone energies, although I don't know much about orgone, but it works in organic life forms, or what has been alive will hold these energies. And so you can put them in your beds or anywhere you want to, and they'll continue working for you. Now, for the greater thing that you asked for about the love energies, all people have to do is take their awareness back up above your eyebrows, into your third eye, drop back into your soul center with the intent to tune back into these love energies again, the goddess energies. Drop all the way back into your subconscious mind, drop your awareness down to the 0 point, and it'll just open up in you. You can feel it happening as I'm talking. Let's open it up and reinforce it in everyone again. All you wonderful goddesses out there, open your hearts and let all these wonderful gods, these emerging learning gods, experience your love. All you goddess teachers, teach us how you want to be treated, how you need to be treated, how you should be treated. There, see how quick that came back? But we have to remember to do it. It's not just it's a standing wave of frequencies. So as we pass forward in time, they tend to dissipate away, but we can reinforce them any time. And we'll do this with each one of our group meetings from now on. The thought and your intent is what directs it. Once it's been patterned and programmed into you, you'll never lose it. And the more you use it, the stronger you'll get. Does that feel wonderful?
Yes, and that is so true. The more you use it, the less you'll lose. It will just keep gaining more and more and more.
Thank you, goddesses, for giving this gift to us.
And thank you for helping us direct it.
And I honor the goddess in each of the males of this group and all of those who are listening.
Thank you. We needed that.
So, should we roll the credits?
We'll just roll right along. Thank you, JP.
Thank you very much, everybody. Beautiful, beautiful show tonight. It's been some great energy. Thank you.
Thank you, JP.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Love to all.
Love and peace and joy.
To all the gods and goddesses.
Yes. We'll go dancing out now.
Okay.
Dancing and singing.
Shine on.